So 10:23, we'll start at 10:28. Maybe, or you know what? Let's make it 3 minutes. So people won't be like, and is it gonna start? So 10:26. Okay. Uh, yes.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello. What's going on, everybody? So welcome to Five Stripe Weekly Live. I am AJ. That is Michael Weiss. And yes, we are going to review the LAFC match and also get into some news and preview that DC United game over the weekend. But yeah, before we get all into that, thank you for joining. I know you're here in the chat below. But also remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, let's get into this LAFC match that, if you stayed up for it, I mean, like you're staying up for this, kind of to a degree. Not as late, obviously. It was a 0-0 draw, but there was a lot of action. One-sided action, for sure. But Brad Guzan was able to really do something that I think rectified a lot of the opinion of him for the last match that he played against us, or with us, for us. It was not his shining moments last match, but this match. Holy crap. 9 saves? 9 saves on the night.
I believe a record high for him.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it's a career high in MLS for him, or at least for LA United. And, I mean, yeah, Michael, like, what are your initial thoughts on this LAFC match?
We got lucky to salvage a point out of that. LAFC essentially made our midfield Swiss cheese. We were unable to really progress the ball forward in any effective way. We had to pretty much bypass our midfield. We started seeing our defensive backs start to hoof the ball over and just try and get something to our offensive guys. And it just really wasn't working. Yako was very frustrated. We really had some, like, you know, you talk about puck luck and other types of things, other sports. Something was going on against LAFC tonight. I mean, I can't believe one of the league's best, you know, noses for goal type scorers, Carlos Vela, fluffs 2 penalty kicks. I was like, oh, okay, here it is. Of course, we're gonna lose to a dumb penalty after all the hard work we've done, and then somehow Brad Guzan saves it because, you know, he was a little bit off his line, and then Carlos Vela does us a solid and puts that thing in the upper 15. Oh man, that was that may have been like my third or so heart attack this game. So yeah,
for sure. Yeah, he murdered somebody in the 3-2-5-2.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, call it luck, but call it maybe some imposing presence also in front of net. But Brad Guzan, he single-handedly earned us this point. It was essentially, we had nothing going forward. We had 0 shots. It was that type of match where, I mean, it's really not that different from a lot of our matches on the road. We constantly look bereft of ideas away. And this match was really no different in a lot of respects. Unchanged 11, Yakumaki's up top, and he looked starved for any service, like anything. And when he had to come off, that was, yeah, I mean, I was pissed for him. Like he, you know, that record that he was trying to chase, every start that he had, pretty much he was getting a goal, and ironically enough, Taylor Twellman was the guy who's calling the match. It's one of those, like, yeah, you know, we just could not find him anywhere near the box. We couldn't really find the box sans that first early chance when Etienne played that 1-2 with Gutman, and Gutman was able to pretty much kind of pull it back, kind of more like a square ball to Thiago Almada, who skied that chance. And then beyond that, we were just getting our goal peppered for that half, for the rest of the game. I mean, it's Brad Guzan, he had something to prove. That much was clear. He was a man on a mission to show that he's not done. And may it continue, really, because we need it. We absolutely need it, especially on the road. We have an anemic record, and especially now, I think, you have. I think it was either this previous match or the match before that. There were stats out there showing that we had the lowest shot percentage in the league for all three keepers. Really bad stuff from our keepers. But Brad Guzan was able to definitely rectify that this night. But in terms of for you, any other like standout things that are of note?
Yeah, I want to talk about Brad for a second because I need to give him his accolades. I guess we can say the old man still got the fastball because boy did he show up. I think Mike Conti was saying something along the lines of maybe 2 or 3 of those 9 shots were kind of routine saves. So you're talking like 7 or 6 shots that were tough, that were not routine, that he had to stand on his head for. And a lot of people were saying, Atlanta United is oftentimes on the other side of this equation, where the other team's goalie away plays outstanding, ridiculous, way above their level, as the old, everyone, another thing that a lot of people say is that, like, when a lot of teams come play in the Mercedes-Benz, this is their MLS Cup game. This is their Cup final. They all feel like, the blaring lights and everything. Like, and they always play way above that their like average for whatever reason against us. So it's like everyone always has a point to prove when they play Atlanta. I would have thought that the last couple of years would tarnish that, but it seems like people still come to the Benz and really just think like this is our Cup final. We did that this time in LA. I mean, it's like that same effect because LA is the team to beat now. So it's like we came there. We had something to prove. Unfortunately, we didn't get the 3 points because our offense was just completely shut down, thanks to the incredible job that they did against our midfield. But man, did Brad show up! That was immaculate goalkeeping. That was some Aston Villa level crazy, back in the day, vintage Guzan. So happy to see that, and that's like you said, it's a strong showing after an abysmal kind of performance he had last game, which seems to be kind of going like have a bad game, have a good game. Against Orlando, it was a pretty good game, and then have a bad game, and now we'll have an excellent game. It will be interesting to see what he has next time, because like if you take those games, you average them together, he kind of is like an okay keeper. So I would like to see some consistency with his play.
Mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see not either gets blown out or he does amazing. So.
Right, because it was slightly embarrassing, the performance last match. I mean, he basically fell over on that third goal before he even realized, kind of what even happened. But we might have even stolen this match. We could have smashed and grabbed this because, there was the Tyler Wolff chance. And then there was, I believe, was it Caleb Wiley that could have put it? No, it was
Johnny Fortune.
Johnny Fortune that could have put away that chance where it was a tap-in, and unfortunately it was just wide. I mean, this match, like you mentioned, with a lot of heart attack moments, but also not only heart and mouth moments, because the number of times that Brad Guzan had to come off his line. Definitely.
I mean, he didn't have to come off a lot of those times, but he did, and it made everyone really nervous.
Yes, and there were times where basically like Miles Robinson had to save the day, because there was one moment where the ball was bouncing, and Brad Guzan was already off his line, and somehow Miles Robinson was able to just put off his attacker just enough.
Yeah. I'll just add I'll add a tidbit there because I'll add a thing there because I was a little confused as this, and I had to kind of see some guidance to understand what happened there. Because what happened was Miles Robinson essentially had a handball in the box. He got hit with the ball. He controlled it off of his chest, and it hit his arm. So they reviewed it and tried to look at it. I was confused why it wasn't a handball. But because it wasn't an attacker shooting it at him and he was putting his arm to block it, he had it basically done with his chest instead. So then the subsequent ball that then hit his arm, that wasn't like an unnatural position. So that's why they didn't call it as that. So that was confusing to me. So I thought I would explain that so anyone else who may have been like, why did that happen? You know, a little bit of help.
That was that play. Yeah, I think I was mentioning the play on the outside of the box when he missed the ball completely, going for a header. But same, yeah. But like basically, Miles Robinson, yeah, he had to intervene. I don't, yeah, for that penalty shout, he about that anyway. But yes, it hit him on the chest and hit his arm. So yeah, definitely not a penalty for me anyway. The actual penalty itself from Purata. Yeah, it was a penalty. He just bowled over his man. He got a yellow. There were a lot of yellows in this match too, but I think I think the defense overall did enough to be gritty to get this result. But yeah, you definitely do not want to give up that many shots. That's troublesome. Gives me PTSD because there's some the other team that I support in Arsenal. There was a manager that by the name of Unai Emery who also had very similar kind of respects of trying to build out from the back and in turn also kind of tweak stuff, but you don't really have a strong defense. You're just getting your goal shot at consistently and incessantly. And this is, I think this is just like my heart, especially that late at night. You don't need this, something just a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. You asked me to go to sleep right afterwards too.
Just be a lot better. Exactly, man. Like that's just not conducive to good Z's, but. It's at the most in this match. I think we showed the resilience. We showed an ability to be able to come back from adversity in terms of maybe Brad Guzan anyway. But it's worrying. It is very worrying on the road how we cannot muster up much of anything in attack, and it's to your point. That midfield looks just overrun, looks overmatched in most games. Thiago Almada hasn't really looked himself in some time. You also have Derek Etienne severely underperforming. I mean, Caleb Wiley just in the few minutes that he was on, like 15 minutes, he looked way more dangerous than Derek Etienne. And let's be honest, like Luis Araujo, he looked really good for most of this match in terms of in possession and helping us in the build-up. In terms of obviously in shots and in the attack, not so much. But I also thought Franco Ibarra had a really good match. Not maybe in the build-up, but he was able to break up a lot of plays. He was able to really control a lot of kind of where the attack was going, which, yeah, I mean, essentially, Brooks Lennon had a really busy night. He more or less pocketed Denny Bouanga, but there were some definite moments where Bouanga had his chances.
He had quite a few shots from like outside the box that just sailed over or were wide.
Right. Yeah, and so either it's luck, or Brooks Lennon was able to do just enough, and Brad Guzan was able to do just enough. We were able to, and I think there were times that Brad Guzan, he had to intervene just at the very last moment because there was a cross-field ball that was the back post that Brad Guzan, I mean, on another night, he would have given up the goal, but he stayed big. It, hit his chest. He was able to do enough. But yeah, I mean, let's check the chat real quick to see if anybody has anything to say. But
so just a couple of names in the chat. We got Niall, we got Elliot Beaven, we got Stronk. Niall's talking about Bruzan, geez, I combined Brad and Guzan. Brad Guzan hit the bill and turned himself into a superhero. Yeah, he did. They put an amazing edit of him on Twitter about Brad. Elliot says Guzan's grabbing the balls like a polar bear. Bouanga, Niall says Miles put Bouanga in his pocket. Yeah, it's kind of like what he just said. It's funny. I mean, like he did neutralize him when he was in really dangerous situations, but and because of that, he was kept to like taking shots outside the box in low probability positions. And honestly, Bouanga usually is more dangerous, and even in those types of situations. So I was worried. Yeah, it's like a situation like other teams want to keep Thiago Almada outside the box, but then he just kind of throws a banger in from outside the box. Denny Bouanga has that ability too. So I was really worried about that. Luckily, he was just not sharp. I don't know, maybe the CCL hangover was real on him because they worked him too hard. I was surprised he played as long as he did. He was just, I don't know, he didn't have it that night. And I'm so happy about that because when him and Carlos Vela were on the field at the same time, I'm like, this is going to be a goal. There's just no way. It's not. And somehow, the soccer gods be praised. It didn't fall exactly how he needed it to. So let me just finish off the chat real quick.
Ooh.
Elliot says, again, the midfield needs to do better. Yeah, absolutely. That was a clear no handball. Niall says, yeah. About Miles, yeah, like I said, off the chest. Sosa has to go, in my opinion. Too injury-ridden. Keep Rossetto. Think he's a good depth piece. Yeah, I mean, Rossetto could be a good depth piece. He's definitely not a starter. Credit has to be given to, as Atlanta and SKC are the only teams that have not lost at LAFC. It's pretty cool. Have not lost. Is that true? We've not lost at LAFC?
Yeah, we have not lost against LAFC. We're 2-2 against them, which is a very small sample size, but still, we'll take that because they've been a very strong side. But I think it's also this, like this season as well. LAFC haven't played that many games in MLS too, so they're I think played 4 less games than every other team in the league.
Yeah, something like that.
But either way. We'll take that. We'll take those plaudits, but I think we'll get to Sosa. We'll get to
Yeah, we did lose against them 4v3 in LA. I remember that. I remember watching that at a bar in like 2018 or something like that.
Right, but we beat them 5-0 in our very first match against them, so we'll always hold that over them.
Yeah.
But but it is this. It's like this match. Yeah, I mean, I think we know. Like, we need a stronger midfield. There's the connectivity between the lines is the issue, and that's why our attack is so starved for any sort of action because they have to come so deep to make anything happen, and those chances they're snatching at them because they know, okay, this is the moment, and then it's like you rush your chance or you basically, you don't give it the proper poise that you need to put the ball in the back of the net. And but I still think, like build-up wise, we were able to do some things that were acceptable, I suppose. I think Yakumakis was still being able to hold up the ball really well on the wings and, kind of keep us from having to maybe continually be in our own half. But like the possession stats are like very surprising.
I have no idea how we had 50-50 at the end. I just that doesn't pass the smell test. I have no idea.
Right. It doesn't make sense. But it is ultimately, it shows you that possession means jack squat. Like it's what you do with the ball, and LAFC, I don't even know how many shots it was, but it was a lot. It was let's look at it. It was 22-4, 8 shots on target. We had 0 shots on target. So yeah, and we actually had we edged them in possession, but the 2.3 xg, that kind of jives. 0.8 for us, that doesn't jive. That we almost had 1 goal. Doesn't make sense, actually.
It's that a Johnny Fortune should have been a goal. I mean, that's a high probability scoring position, so that's probably where the majority of that comes from.
Yeah, and I think before we wrap up the review part of this, there was another penalty shot that maybe didn't even happen. Wasn't even a shout, but Brad Guzan bowling over his man.
Oh yeah.
Being able to make that,
Tyler 12 was losing his shit.
Really instinctive save. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, that probably on another day could have been a penalty. But I think Guzan had this hoodoo.
Yeah.
This night, and it was just enough to get us the result that we need. And I think ultimately, I mean, we'll take it on the road against LAFC. Like I think feared probably the worst against an LAFC team that was in the Champions League final. Like you'll take this all day.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we deserve 3 points? No.
One win in 7 games.
Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
We likely did not deserve this. I think all the numbers. Yeah, we have 1 win in 7 games. In our last 7 games.
A lot of draws though. So that's something, I guess.
Yep, a lot of draws. Exactly. We're still hanging in there in 5th somehow. So we'll I think kind of swiftly transition into the news, unless you have some parting thoughts on this.
Yeah, sure. I thought Gutman did really well. He was an engine everywhere he went. I thought Brooks Lennon did pretty well. Robinson had like an iffy night. Like it was dire interventions that he intervened with that were necessary, but they also like put us in some awkward situations. Let's see who else. Ibarra was pretty good too. There was one time he gave away the ball in a dangerous area, but he trekked all the way back to stop it and kind of solved his own problem he created. Who else was there that had some standout moments? I'm interested to see Wiley and Tyler Wolf employed more. Like you said, Derek Etienne just is not cutting it. So that needs to go. Miguel Berry did pretty well. Like his extra burst of speed in the 60-some minute or whatever, 70 minute, whenever he came in. I thought he showed some heart. Obviously he's supercharged a bit after scoring that Golazo. But, I predicted he would go back to mediocrity after that because there's nothing in the cards or, in the tea leaves or whatever that tells me that is a replicable thing he's just going to keep doing. So, I didn't expect that to happen, and I don't going forward. So I wouldn't suggest you expect it either. Hopefully it'll happen again once or twice, but I just don't see it. Who else? Yeah. So I just have to end by just saying once again, Brad Guzan did amazing. If you missed this match, go back and watch it. Aside from the heart attacks, you get to see a masterclass by a goalie, which is not super common. In MLS or anywhere else, really. This was really good. So if you really want to take, if you're wanting to aspire to be a goalie, it's a good match to watch. So, that's what I'll say about to end on Brad Guzan, because that's where it should end on, is talking about the big man, because boy did he show up.
Yeah, and it was his 150th appearance for LA United, his 50th clean sheet as well. I believe it was the 100th appearance for Miles Robinson. So a banner game for them in terms of being able to keep the clean sheet. So, defense-wise, that's good. Would we take a better result? Absolutely, but like we said, you'll take this probably 9 out of 10 times. So, but all right, so let's get into the news then. Like I said, we're 5th in the Eastern Conference. Somehow, that's the I don't know.
It's tight this
Is it
year.
Mediocrity? Yeah, it's tight. I guess it's something. I don't know how we're staying in these like playoff spots with how anemic our form has been, but it's incredible, and especially with the likes of like Hani Mukhtar with Nashville SC, with FC Cincy, with Lucho Acosta and Brandon Vasquez, just how they're. I mean, yeah, I think near the top they're running away with it a little bit, but a little bit in the middle spots, it's bunched up.
Yeah.
And we were able to I think jump Columbus Crew somehow as well. But I think it's because they didn't play. So, that probably helps too. But let's move on to the biggest news of this past like I don't know how or if you missed this news. I mean, you just must not be a soccer fan if that's the case. But Lionel Messi, he is going to Inter Miami, and he is coming to MLS. Why is this relevant to LA United? Well, we are probably the first match that Lionel Messi will play in MLS. So, in the kind of mid to July, there's of course Leagues Cup, and also we play them at home. If you're a season ticket member and not wanting to hold on to your seats, you can probably recoup your entire season by just selling that ticket. But it's ridiculous out there right now. I mean, Chicago sold 10,000 tickets or something like that just on that day. Apparently, D.C. United as well sold a ridiculous amount of tickets. You have their Instagram, Inter Miami's Instagram, jumping up from I think something like 1 mil to about 4 mil.
It was at 5, and it's probably higher now. Let's see.
Yeah, it's just only going to continue to jump higher, and that's just the power of Lionel Messi coming into this league. We'll get on the impact.
6.3 million now.
I think 6. Yeah, it's gonna keep going, and it's wild because I mean, yeah, you already had the David Beckham effect, but now it's gonna be the best player ever. Let's just be real. If you're a Ronaldo fan, okay, but let's just call a spade here.
Yeah.
And the Messi versus Ronaldo debates. They'll be endless. You can be on one aisle or the other aisle. You can let us know in the comments below, I'm sure, as well, what you think. But, like, this impact is on a Pele level, is definitely going to be greater than a David Beckham level, but the deal that he is reportedly getting, it's not finalized yet, but is that he's going to get some stake in the Adidas deal, in the Apple TV deal, as well as, I mean, at this point, they're breaking all the rules for Lionel Messi to even come into the league. So, the salary structure, that's going to probably have to go away. There's rumors of, Sergio Busquets coming to Inter Miami. There's
Di Maria.
Rumors of, Di Maria. To a very lesser degree, Luis Suarez. I don't know how that's all going to happen, but obviously Jose Martinez is on the squad right now. He's a DP. You have Campagna as well, one of the other DPs. And then you also
Grego
have
or whatever,
old friend.
What's the other one? No, not Grego. Gregory, nope. Gregor, something like that. He's a third DP on their team.
Oh, Grigore,
that's it. Yeah.
Grigore, yeah. That midfielder is definitely probably gone. I think if you can get Busquets or keep Grigore, I think you're probably you're bringing in Busquets. But also in an old friend, in Tata Martino, he is reportedly being linked to Inter Miami as well. So kind of MLS homecoming of sorts, which is very, very disconcerting because we all love Tata Martino, and Jose Martinez, I think, holds a soft spot in most of our hearts. Seeing both of them recombine, reunite, and as well have a world beater in Lionel Messi, who, by the way, is still no slouch. He is one of the like 2 players in the top 5 leagues in Europe to have 20 goals and 20 assists, or at least double digit assists and goals in a top 5 league. One of 2 players. That's along with what's his name? For some reason I can't remember him right now. But yeah, a former teammate of his. Man, can't remember. Oh well. Griezmann, Antoine Griezmann. So one of 2 players to have that. That's just, yeah, it shows you that he is still absolutely the GOAT.
And in case you forgot, he just won the World Cup.
Exactly. In case you forgot, exactly. So this is troublesome. We're in the same conference as Inter Miami. They're 8th or 9th right now in the league.
They're way worse.
Yeah,
Inter Miami is way worse. I think.
Way worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just double check because I just looked and it's bad. They're 27th for the Shield, and in our conference, they are last, 15th.
Last. Yeah, and they just let go of their coach, Phil Neville. Yeah, like this is as good of a turnaround as you can get. Like that.
If there's probably the best turnaround you could possibly get.
Yeah, it really doesn't get much better, and yeah, it's man, I'm perturbed, I'm concerned. Yeah, we have to pretty much. I don't know. I mean, like, it might actually be better to actually be in the, like, middle spots because I don't see them getting into the middle spots. They can probably sneak into a playoff spot, in which case, yeah, if you're FC Cincy or Nashville or whichever team, you'll have to face... Yeah, if you don't get a bye, like, your prize is to face Lionel Messi and Inter Miami if they can get into the playoffs.
So let me kind of, like... maybe assuage a little bit of your concerns. I'm not, ringing all the alarm bells for a Inter Miami with Messi. If it's Messi and friends, I will be, because I don't think, he's the world's best player, but I don't think even him by himself with what Inter Miami has right now can do that much more. Are they a playoff team? Yeah, I think so. He's just that good that I think he can just lift them to that. But I think that they're still going to struggle against the upper half of the league. And I think we can still beat them, especially, and I think this is going to happen. Keep your eyes peeled on the league. I think a lot of other teams, and hopefully and specifically Atlanta, after seeing what just happened, are going to sign their own world beaters. I really think we're going to have a response. And, if we have him here in place and time to be able to play against games where they're going to deploy Messi, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot because you can have a great player like you had Zlatan Ibrahimovic on Galaxy. They were not a good team overall. They could beat the pants out of LAFC, but they weren't very good outside of that. So, you can have a, insanely good player, but if you don't have the accompaniment. Yeah, that's why we talked about Busquets earlier. Like, if you can get Messi and friends, then that's going to be terrifying. Di Maria's teammate on Argentina. Like, if they get that kind of chemistry going, the league is in super trouble. Again, but to your point, I have no financial way of understanding how the hell they could do that. But they rewrite the rules, so it is what it is. But if there are rules for them, they're going to rewrite the rules for everybody. So we'll get our own. We'll get our own. So, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. But I wouldn't be super afraid yet. It's going to be awesome to watch him. And honestly, there is a scenario Let's be real. There is a scenario where putting Messi on a team without putting any other players, just keeping it away, actually makes them worse. It could. It could do that.
It depends on the motivation of Lionel Messi for sure. But I think, to the Thiago Almada point of how he's willed us into a playoff spot. I think there is an argument that Lionel Messi can will them to.
Yeah, he absolutely can. But them completely putting all their eggs in a Messi basket could hurt them in the long run. What if he gets injured and the rest of their team just literally can't play because everything is built around? Why wouldn't you build around Messi? So it could be something along those lines. You never know. Soccer's a fickle mistress, so we'll see. But I mean, if you're gonna make me bet on it, I would say he's definitely gonna put them up into the playoffs. But there is a scenario where it could backfire, so you never know.
Right, and I think the biggest marker is next season if he is playing with them next season. But I would imagine, that's when they build a team around him. I think that's when you'll see a really, really dangerous Inter Miami side, and especially if the salary structure in MLS has loosened up after that.
It's got to, doesn't it? It has to.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. On your point of we'll bring in our own superstars. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than Messi, so it's for us, we'd have to figure out what that would look like and who that would be, and obviously, Thiago Almada probably is the person revolving out of that door, and so it probably is somebody that, it's just that's the bummer. Obviously there's discovery rights in MLS, and why would he come to Atlanta? I think that's probably the biggest question there as well in terms of Messi. I think it was always that connection with David Beckham, and it being a Miami. It's arguable that it's a more global city at times than Atlanta.
Yeah.
You have that cachet of it just being you have that attractiveness of it being just a party town, a lot of tourists coming in, and just the glitz and glamour.
Yeah,
we have some glitz and glamour, but it's not on a level of South Beach at times.
Yeah,
so.
We don't have a beach. If Atlanta had a beach, we'd be pretty solid.
Right. We have a very large South American population, but I think it's ultimately there is that cachet, even though they're playing in Fort Lauderdale. So we could
in an 18,000 person stadium for Lionel Messi.
Yeah. I mean, they probably have to start figuring out how to expand that stadium, little by little or quickly, pretty soon. But I think somebody pointed out on Twitter this very astute thing that so Pity Martinez is playing with Ronaldo in Saudi Arabia, and Joseph Martinez is playing with or going to play with Messi in Inter Miami.
6 degrees of separation.
Absolutely. It's definitely it's a weird timeline. Man, I don't know, man. Either way.
How long do you think Ronaldo's going to stay in Saudi Arabia?
He's getting really well paid. I think he's staying there. Karim Benzema just went there and he's being paid 200 mil.
Don't you think they're just going to go get their bag and then hop out once their contract expires?
It could be, but I think Ronaldo is getting to that age where also there is that rumor of him not being able to come to America.
Oh right, I heard about that
because of a lawsuit. So it is this at this point where is he gonna go? It's at this point the Chinese league is not really a thing anymore where people will actually want to go. They pretty much end their careers there. Talk about actual retirement leagues.
Yeah,
that's actually there. So yeah, it'll be very, very interesting. But let's keep it moving in terms of other things in the league. So we're not in the league, but around LA United. So Caleb Wiley, unfortunately, the U.S. Youth National Team, they crashed out of the World Cup. But Wiley had a pretty good World Cup. for the U20s. So yeah, good to see that he came out unscathed. So yeah, that's definitely very good news. To LA United 2, the last match against Inter Miami, they were able to beat them 5-0. Yep. Nick Firmino was able to win the Player of the Match Day in the MLS Next Pro League. Yeah, unfortunately, there is a player that has suffered an injury. Yeah, and that's very sad here. But and he, I'm trying to get to him. It's not showing up, so we'll just have to go by memory here. But basically, a player from LA United 2 has suffered a torn meniscus. He will be out for, I think, 4 to 6 weeks. But yeah, I'll find the name eventually.
Mystery player.
Mystery player, but yeah, it's completely off of memory. But either way, yeah, and so yeah, it's not a really super busy week of news, but it definitely is. Yeah, the biggest news that definitely impacts LA United, and yeah, if you're going to any of those matches, so at the very least in July, it will be a madhouse. Like they're definitely going to open up the third bowl. I'm sure there is going to just be an enormous amount of press, and yeah, it's just going to be a circus.
I want to see Messi's face when they have to explain to him that he has to play on turf.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we're gonna be, I think, wondering is that, Argentina, they're gonna be playing some friendlies, so there is that's gonna be happening right before the Leagues Cup and the match against us, in MLS. So, will he be playing? Will he play on turf? Like that's the biggest question. But I think to finish out all of that Messi talk is that this bodes well in the run up to the World Cup in America and Mexico and Canada. Like this is all just, I think, some ridiculous stuff that's gonna be amazing for her.
It's going perfectly. I mean, think of it like this: it's everything is falling into place. You get the world's best player coming to the United States. You have Leagues Cup starting up. You have the World Cup starting up. You have the Apple deal coming through. Like, you have Copa America coming. Like, I mean, it's literally perfect. Like, it couldn't be better at this moment. So, I mean, it is an exciting time to be a soccer fan. Just jumping right in right now. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of new fans coming into soccer because of the World Cup. People coming into age, that weren't quite old enough before, perhaps, to watch the games or to understand them or things like that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be awesome. It's going to hopefully be kind of a cultural zeitgeist shift towards America accepting soccer a little bit more. So we'll see. Everything has aligned. So it's everything is laid out in a perfect, perfect setup for us. So we'll see.
Yeah, and just to finish out that thought of who was injured, it's Fouad Adani. So best wishes on a quick recovery to the LA United 2 player. But all right, so let's get into the match preview and DC United on Saturday, 7:30 at the Benz. DC United, they actually are in a decent spot. Wayne Rooney has got them in a playoff spot at the moment in 7th. Pretty much 6-5-6 in terms of wins, draws, and losses. They're at 23 points. They're just 2 points below us. So this, on paper, means that they are a squad that's, should play us pretty tough. And, in terms of the strength of them, they have Christian Benteke, a former Premier League player. They have Mateos Klick. They have some experience in some really crucial spots. But their weakness, I mean, they lost Bill Hamid, they lost Ola Kamara, they lost David Ochoa. Pretty much goalkeeper, defense, midfield, fullback, all kind of questionable because, I mean, if you look at kind of their goal difference, it's not great. If you look at ours, it's not great either. So, but we do score a lot of goals normally, sans last match. But yeah, they also let in a lot of goals too. But in terms of yeah, the key acquisitions from their offseason, Mateus Click, as I mentioned before, Ruan and Tyler Miller. He's their new starting goalkeeper. But yeah, you know, Wayne Rooney has led a little bit of a, I wouldn't say renaissance, but definitely he's got them playing better, and you would hope so. I mean, yeah, he's a big name. Came from Derby County as well, where yeah, it was a mystery that he actually left a Premier League side, or not Premier League,
Championship, right?
Yeah, a championship side, an English side rather is more the thought that I was going for, but. To come here and I think yeah, like ply his trade a little bit, kind of in the Patrick Vieira mold, kind of in you know, that type of vein, to maybe kind of get his bearings a bit more. Thierry Henry as well, of course, you know, with Montreal Impact. So it's definitely like it's a stepping stone, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of levels he can bring DC United up to, but. The predictions from around the league, in terms of pundits, they're not very high. They're not very high on DC United. They're actually overperforming those expectations. They had them pretty much as high as 12th and as low as pretty much the wooden spoon in 15th. So, yeah, the expectations are low. But, you know, it's not surprising. Last year they were 14th in the East. And of course, they didn't qualify for the playoffs at that moment with those abysmal type of you know, kind of numbers there. But yeah, getting to us, and in terms of you know, what we expect out of this match. Well, before that, you know, the players that are available. Well, Ozzy Alonso, he's come back. That was the other bit of news. He played about 25 minutes or so. For LA United 2, had a very emotional return. His whole family was there at Fifth Third Bank Stadium, and yeah, it's very great to see, because I think Alonso can play a big part in solidifying and connecting our lines that we desperately need to be able to, I think, yeah, just play well on the road, play well in general, where when we're missing some things, some leadership from an outfield player, yeah, it's just stuff that we're missing, and yeah, hopefully he can come back.
And
soon.
Pineda was there, which was nice. It was nice.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good moment to yeah, to have some support from the coaching staff as well. But Eric Lopez is definitely out. Marseille, he was sitting on the bench for LAFC. Whether he was actually able to play or not, obviously he did play, and I think you know, that leads to him being still probably questionable for this weekend's match, and Sosa as well is questionable too. So that's probably why you saw a Johnny Fortune come in. But yeah, whether they will play a part this weekend, I have my doubts, but we shall see. But it gets us into our predicted starting 11, and yeah, Michael, let's kind of go through the lines together, I suppose. So, at goalkeeper, Brad Guzan, obviously. But,
yes.
But at fullback, at right fullback, who do you have?
I'm actually going to go with Fernandez over Lennon, because Lennon worked a lot last game. A lot of the guys, I mean, Jason Longshore was on the radio talking about how people don't remember this or talk about this that much, but playing extremely difficult defensive games takes a lot out of you. More so than, you know, like a game that it's like 3-3 or, you know, highly offensive, you know, end-to-end, that kind of thing. Even though you'd think end-to-end is really taxing, apparently, and, you know, for fullbacks especially too, like, this is extremely draining. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was slight rotation there, since it's, Wednesday to Saturday, quick, turnaround. And Hernandez seemed fine so far this season. So it wouldn't be surprising if he's out there. So that's what I get for there.
Yep. That's a good shout. I think I keep Lennon in there and then probably just sub him off a little bit sooner. I think, that ability to be able to, terrorize that left side of DC United, I think will be very key. Ronald Hernandez just doesn't bring, enough of the attacking, prowess that I prefer probably in this match, where it's going to be a little tighter, I think. And I think we need that attacking impetus to be able to maybe find that early ball for Giakoumakis, like he wasn't able to find him in that ridiculous chip. So more of those, and Lennon is more apt to be able to, do that for me. But getting into the center back pairing, are you keeping the same center back pairing, or are you rotating?
I want to see Braum, but I'm probably gonna go with Robinson and Purata as the center back pairing. I mean, it's so frustrating. You spend so much on a guy like that. He's got some hype to him. I mean, you don't have Thiago announce you essentially, and you be a flop. Like, that's just not good. That's just like what is going on. So you want to see him. I don't know if we will. I think our strongest pairing right now, just because of the chemistry, is Robinson and Purata. And they put in a good shift last game, so I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, definitely. I would keep them both. Their center backs, while they were very busy, it still is a lot less running. So I'm gonna stick with our strongest pairing, and Abram can maybe come in if we need to spell a few minutes if we're up. Hopefully that is the case. But getting to left fullback then, who's your guy?
Probably Gutman. I'm just gonna keep him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Gutman is the man there for me as well. I think Wiley could have come in. I think there is a shout that maybe he might be coming in at another position. But getting into midfield, who's your midfield pairing?
So I'm gonna have Ibarra back because he had a great game, and I think he's probably the strongest of this. The one of the key pieces. I mean, we need to reconstruct the midfield in general, but at the moment, I think he's a representative of one of the strongest we could have out there. Sajic, I think, is another one that pairs nicely with him. It might be our strongest pairing, and I want to see him out there, but again, to your point earlier, is he available? He was on the bench, but is he truly available? We don't know. Ideally, you want to see him, but it may have to be Josetu again. And that's not great. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it is Josetu and Ibarra. I mean, it is what that is. And I think you saw Josetu come off early, probably in kind of preparation for that. But yeah, Ibarra as well. I don't know if he's gonna last the whole match. So it might be a Johnny Fortune. It might be Santiago Sosa who comes in. We'll find out, but I think we persist with that.
That would be wild if it was a Johnny over Sosa. That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. But I think he comes in to spell him later in the match. I think that's probably what might happen for Ibarra. But since he did play the full 90 versus LAFC. But so let's get into right wing. Who do you have there?
Araujo. I'm gonna he had a decent game last game. He skipped, he does a thing where he'll skip past a player when he gets the ball, and that's nice because you got one man down, and then he runs into two and loses it or shoots it, and it goes way wide. So if he could get that pass, or if he can skip another player, is dangerous. But all he can do is really skip one player, and then he runs into trouble. So. But at that position, I think he's the best one we have. It draws into a little bit of why are we playing two inverted wingers often. I don't know if that's their best play. Araujo's fast. Why not have him on left wing and just bomb down and then have those one-touch crosses? instead of having to take, his time, dribble little, and cut in, because it always seems to be that dribble is where he loses it. So I don't know. That's a story for another day about inverted wingers.
Yeah, and I like inverted wingers when they're producing, when they're shooting on goal. But at the moment, Araujo and Derek Etienne are not shooting on goal. So but yes. Conversation for another day. Araujo at right wing for me. I think the easiest one right now, first name on the team sheet, Thiago Almada at the 10. Not much more probably needs to be said about that. But although, he has been a little bit not himself at the moment.
I don't know if that's his fault. I don't know. He just doesn't have a lot of support. Once he gets the ball from midfield, from like the defensive midfield or the center backs or the fullback, it's always in a hectic situation where he doesn't have a lot to work with. So I don't really blame. Like, he has zero time, zero opportunity. So it is what it is with that. I don't know if more space opens up for him, gives him more time to be an operator. He can do more with it. We'll see. But obviously he's the one. He's going to have that position. He's going to start. So.
Right. But to your point, he's not being given a lot of space to operate at the moment, and it is also he's not being found in super dangerous spots in the box. Although yes, the first chance of the LAFC match, he skied that one, but otherwise, I mean, it is that because they're snatching at the few chances that they're getting, and I think that's where it is the culprit at the moment. But so left wing, going with Derek Etienne or Caleb Wiley. Who are you going with? I
mean, in my estimation, it's either Wolf or Wiley. Etienne's lost that position to me. I'll probably have Wiley there. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's I agree. I mean, Tyler Wolff, he has been playing pretty decently when he's come on. I don't know if he's earned the position quite yet, or at least to start, but Caleb Wiley, when he has started, definitely has. And, you see him very, very productive, especially at home. His home cooking, the home crowd. He's from Atlanta. He's going to be... hyped. He's going to be able to, I think, channel that energy, and I think we need to score first. We need to be able to, get an early lead to kind of quell some nerves, as well as not make a game at the Benz so what's the word? But basically, we've been making a really bad habit of going down early at the Benz, so let's not do that. But and then up top, I think that's pretty obvious. Yep, there you go. There's one name on that team sheet at the number 9 position, and it is Giakoumakis. Man, it's just we need to get him some service, however way we can. And at the Benz, it's a little bit more apt to be able to find him. So, hopefully we can do that. But, that's our 11. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. But that gets us into the score prediction. And, Michael, what is your score prediction?
2-1, Atlanta. I'm always going to say Atlanta wins in my predictions just because I'm optimistic and I want them to win. But I feel like a draw is imminent. So... that makes me concerned. But, I mean, I'm just hoping that a lot like the LAFC game, the other team, it's just not their day. And if it's just not their day and they're having trouble finding the back of the net, we can get a win. So I hope that that's the case. That'll be what I say. 2-1.
Right. It seems like mind and heart say something different. Likewise for me. My heart wants a win. My head, the rational, logical mind part of it, says it's probably going to be a 2-2 draw or something like that. And it's frustrating. We need to make the Bends a little bit more of a fortress where people can't get points off of us, or teams can't get points off of us. But alas, I don't think we're in that moment right now to be able to, put away teams and put them to the sword. So, yeah, also a draw. So 2-2 draw. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Also, let's get into the chat. Let's see if anybody has anything that they're saying before we wrap this baby up.
Yeah, the local pundit, thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Yep, Strong is there. Thank you for stopping by too. Inverted wingers are to add more attacking options up front, but they are bad at passing because they're inverted. Yep, we'll talk about that another time. Atlanta has Gigi and Ahmad up front, doesn't need more options, needs more passes ending at these guys. Yeah, I mean, they're the tip of the spear, they're the focal point. Everything should be working towards getting them into dangerous scenarios. So, yeah. Elliot Beaven says 2-2 draw. Strong also says it's not up to Atlanta, guys. It's up to how DC will press. I mean, like, again, like I'm saying, like, if DC is on, it can be scary with Benteke. That guy can be terrifying. So he can just light it up if he's on. But like we saw Denny Mwanga, he wasn't on and he was silent. So hopefully we can see something like that, and luck kind of follows us a bit back from LA. What else is there? Strong says Pineda has no ball instinct, which I don't know exactly what that means. So we'll just leave it at that. And the local pundit says, yeah, who are we talking about? Benteke, he was not great in the EPL, but he can play, especially in this league. And yeah, we saw it. I mean, the guy scored a bike recently. DC, also Strong says, DC don't like pressing high. They are more of a counter-attacking team, but maybe he will have a tactical surprise. I mean, the book is out on how to play Atlanta in Atlanta, and it's with counterattacks. I would put money on that we're going to see counterattacks from DC. So,
yeah, I would bet, because especially at home, as much as we play better on the counter, we're going to try to keep the ball. We're going to possess, and it's just, is it the best thing that we can do at the moment? Not sure. Like, a lot of our best goals this season have been either on the counter or on set pieces, or dead balls. So I don't know, it's gonna be, I think, in that vein where we probably get something from a set piece and something from a counter, because that's just how we do at the moment.
That's what we're good at.
But yep, exactly. But anyway, I think that's it from the chat, right?
Yep.
All right, well, that pretty much is the entire episode except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, what impact do you think Lionel Messi will have on MLS? It's a big question, but very curious what you think. I mean, is it going to be bigger than David Beckham? Is it going to be bigger than Pele? I mean, it'll be very, very interesting to see kind of what he does and what kind of ultimate legacy he brings from having played in MLS. So we'll find out soon. Obviously, it's going to be a crazy madhouse, but I'm here for it. It's going to be insane in July. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode, guys. For Michael, I've been AJ. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.
Adios, everybody.